What's up, friends? My name is Joss from squibblesreads, and welcome to the second episode of Thrillers and More Thursday. Thrillers and More Thursday is a super casual series where I talk about at least one, but probably more books in the thriller, mystery, and/or crime genre that I have recently read or want to read. A couple of Genreathon housekeeping things. First, myself, Brittany, Kristen, and Lauren, the hosts of Genreathon, will be doing a live show on Sunday, April 17th, the final Sunday of Genreathon, and it will be at 12 p.m. Pacific time. We'll be talking about everything that we've read, rating it, and also talking about our experiences as hosts, so we would love it if y'all joined us then. Also, I am going to be hosting sprints on Tuesday, April 12th and Friday, April 15th on my Twitter account, so if you're not following me there, please go ahead and follow me. It will be at squibblesreads. I'll be doing them at around 11 a.m. Pacific time and also again at 5 p.m. Pacific time, so everyone around the world can join me. Okay, so we will get into our thrillers now. I read 2 this week and I found one at the library that I love, and I've also discovered a new series. The one that I got from the library is called Carter and Lovecraft by Jonathan L. Howard. Our main character, Daniel Carter, used to be a homicide investigator but now is a private investigator because something went sour in one of his previous cases. He inherits a bookstore from someone that he does not know, and also the bookseller there is Emily Lovecraft, who is the last known descendant of H.P. Lovecraft, and if you guys did not know, he is a very famous writer of horror fiction and strange fiction. People around him start dying in weird ways, and Carter starts to believe that Lovecraft's work may not all be fictional. I have not heard of any mystery books like this, so I'm very excited to start this one. The next book I read was The Girl in the Red Coat by Kate Hamer. It's about the kidnapping of a quirky, intuitive 8-year-old girl named Carmel. She and her mom, Beth, go to a fair one day and she goes missing there. We basically find out who kidnapped her in the first 75-ish pages of the book, so it's not really a mystery or a thriller in that sense. There are no multiple suspects, unreliable narrators, no build-up and execution of a big plot twist at the end, but it alternates between first-person points of views of Carmel and her mom very quickly, so I was very captivated and it was a really quick read. I liked that the writing took some time to describe the little nuances of the people's actions and their surroundings, so it was more lyrical and descriptive in that sense compared to mysteries that are more plot-focused. However, I had one glaring issue with it. If you look it up on Goodreads, the blurb says, and these are direct quotes, that it is a standout debut thriller and will keep you guessing until the last page. I don't think that's necessarily the case here. I never really felt like I was under an aura of suspense, even though I was intrigued, so I went into it expecting something completely different. I did take off half a star for this because I felt that the blurb was a little misleading. Also, the ending was slightly rushed and haphazard, so in the end I gave it 3.5 stars. The next thriller I finished was called Pretty Baby by Mary Kubica. You will probably have heard of her because her debut thriller called The Good Girl has been seen in a lot of places. Pretty Baby centers around a family of 3. We have the mom, Heidi, who works at a non-profit organization and is generally really charitable. We have the dad, Chris, who is a workaholic. He works 70 to 80 hours a week. He is always flying in and out of town and working really early and really late hours. And then we have their 12-year-old daughter, Zoe. One day, Heidi sees a disheveled, possibly homeless girl at the subway station and again repeatedly sees her everywhere. Eventually, she becomes obsessed with this girl and the baby that she's always carrying. The story alternates between Heidi's story and the story of this 14-year-old girl. Y'all know I need good character development to become attached to any book, but especially in thrillers, and there was a lot of it in Pretty Baby. However, it was very heavily saturated in the first 60 to 70% of the book, and there was barely any action. I'm not the type of reader that always needs books to be fast-paced and always moving, but I do believe that it has to be purposeful and effortful and intriguing. That is where it fell flat for me. I really wanted something to happen, even something small, and nothing really happened until about 60 to 70% of the way through, and by then I had already kind of checked out, even though I did push through to the end and I figured out what happened. The thing at the end that happened wasn't necessarily a plot twist, and I kind of saw it coming the whole way. In the end, I did give it 2.25 stars. I also wanted to introduce an author that I recently discovered, and his name is Ragnar Jonasson. He is from Iceland, and he wrote a series called the Dark Iceland series. Only 2 books in the series so far. The second one and the 6th one have been translated into English. The second one is called Snowblind, and the 6th one is called Nightblind. This series all takes place in the town town of Siglafjordur, which is at the very northernmost tip of Iceland, and it is a tiny fishing village that is only accessible by mountain tunnel. We meet Ari Thor Eriksson, who is a policeman. In Snowblind, he is still a rookie policeman, and he is investigating the case of a woman whose body he stumbled across in the snow one day, and she is very badly beaten. And in the same book, a highly esteemed writer falls to his death at a local theater. In Nightblind, he investigates the murder of a local policeman. If y'all remember, my favorite book that I read in March was Burial Rites by Hannah Kent, which was based on the true account of the last person to be executed in Iceland. And my favorite part of Burial Rites was the fact that the landscape of Iceland, the chilliness, was so evocative, and I really wanted to find a book that goes back there, and I'm so glad that I found this series because it is a thriller and it is set in Iceland. So that concludes this Thrillers and More Thursday. Just a reminder that the Genreathon live show will be on Sunday, April 17th, and I will be hosting sprints on Twitter on Tuesday, April 12th and Friday, April 15th. If you have any questions, comments, or anything else, please leave it down below. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!